We are live, Your Worship.
Good afternoon, Council. I'd like to call this regular council meeting of October 28, 2025 to order with adoption of the agenda as amended to include sections F and G of the community charter in the in-camera agenda. So I want to make the motion for me, Councilor Devlin, Councilor Lucero. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes of regular council meeting of October 14th. Councilor Cherry, Councilor Devlin, all in favor? Motion's carried. Any business arising from those minutes? Okay, I'm just going to go right on to announcements from the mayor. We are now getting into preparation for winter. So just reminding community that if you have any belongings on city property, for example, back alleys, we can ask you to remove that stuff so our staff can do what they need to for winter. And a couple things to remember. Remembrance Day coming up on November 11th. Parade starts downtown in front of City Hall at 10:30. The ceremony will start at just prior to 11 a.m. at the Cenotaph. So just encourage everyone in the community to come out for that event. And also we are reinvigorating the Santa Claus Parade here in the community. We have set the time or the date and time for Saturday, December 13th at 4 p.m. With pictures with Santa after the parade in the plaza. So again, encourage everyone to come out, take part. If you're interested in taking part with a float, we would be happy to have you included. So there'll be some stuff on our website, but also there'll be a communication coming out from our communications people as well. All right, we are now going to move on to recommendations from committee. 8A Finance Committee meeting. Is there some oversight on that, Ms. Moore, before we go into this?
Through the chair, no further comment for myself.
All right. Does someone want to put this motion on the table, or you want to discuss this before? Let's put it on the table. And then we can have a discussion. Councilor Devlin.
I actually am intending to put a motion to defer this until the next council meeting. And I will explain my reasoning for that before I do so, as those are non-debatable motions. That will give us, or that will give Tourism Revelstoke, who has expressed some concerns on this, time to have a board meeting in between now and our next meeting. They have one scheduled for the 5th of November. I am still very much in support of this motion, but I do think that as their council rep, it would be a good opportunity to have a real fulsome conversation with them at a table, as opposed to just through emails. So I will allow for discussion. I'm not going to put that motion on right now because, again, it's not debatable once I do. So if anybody has any discussion to have on this.
Any comments from council knowing what potential Ms. Floyd, Councilor Palmer?
Thank you, Mayor Souls. I would support that deferral motion. So should it be put on the table, I'm willing to second it.
Ms. Floyd.
Mayor Sells, the motion to defer to a specific time is debatable. To defer indefinitely is not.
Then I will.
Councilor Devlin.
I'd like to make a motion to defer the decision, or to defer this discussion on motion 8A Part 1 until the next regular council meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yep, Councilor Palmer. And so there's no debate. It's just going to be deferred.
We can debate, yeah. We can debate it.
Okay. You want to discuss debate? No? Go ahead, Councilor Palmer.
Yeah, just I think Councilor Devlin explained that quite well. There's a communications gap that needs to be plugged up before we make this decision. Thanks.
I will call a vote on deferral. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is passed unanimously. Item number 2, someone want to put that motion on the table for me, please, Councilor Cherry.
I move that the conferences, travel, and training
training budget line item for Chief Administrative Officer and Council be reduced by 23,500 collectively for the 2026 budget.
Seconder, Council Lucille. Discussion.
Sure, as this is a recommendation from the Finance Committee, we previously discussed ways to minimize our costs and burden on the taxpayers in the upcoming year.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Moving on to item 9A, public notice bylaws. Someone want to make that motion for me, please? Is there any oversight first, Ms. Floyd, before I ask for the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Sauls. There is a small presentation attached to the agenda. Basically, I just wanted, there were concerns about potentially not doing enough public notice. So this PowerPoint just quickly outlines, sorry, I'm just bringing it up here.
Okay.
The options and what will actually happen. I think if we look at the 6th slide here. Sorry, I can't share it because we're not in Zoom. Janet, would you mind sharing the 6th slide?
Certainly, one moment.
Thank you. Thank you. So in addition to the 2 items that are listed in the public notice bylaw, staff intends on completing social media, Talk Revelstoke, and the newsletter. It's not in the bylaw in case for some reason there isn't the capacity for staff being away or just if something unexpected goes on, it could cause problems with whatever the notification is required. And then the other 2 options are to advertise on the newspaper and in the radio, and those are council directed. If at any time council wants to do additional methods of notice, that would be the time when you could make a recommendation.
All right, thank you, Ms. Floyd. Any questions with Ms. Floyd before I ask for the motion on the table? Seeing none, someone want to put the motion on the table for me, Councilor Lucille?
I move that public notice bylaw number 2422 be adopted.
Seconded for the motion, Councilor Cherry. Any further discussion on this motion? Councilor Palmer?
Thank you, Mayor Souls. I've thought more about this since we had I guess it was the first readings on this and a fairly lengthy discussion last time. So I won't repeat on that. Various councillors were having different perspectives. The one thing that I just wanted to point out regarding the newspaper, so the newspaper requirement's been there for eons, decades and decades as a requirement. So this is a time of change, and of course we see the diminishing use of traditional newspapers. However, there's 2 points I'd like to point out on that. Is one, there is still quite a few people that still rely on the local paper for notifications. With the recent postal strike, I went to pick up my physical paper from our local media and had a discussion with someone at that time, and I noted a large number of people picking up the paper, and I was looking at that demographic and I thought they probably are not on social media, probably aren't getting other venues of information for things like the city. And so that gave me pause for concern. The second, I was thinking about it after our last meeting as well, was the need and respect of our local paper, and they're struggling. And I think it would be a real shame that there is some lost revenues, even though one consider it somewhat charitable in a way. I think there still is a need and a place for that. So just based on those items at this point, I'm not feeling 100% comfortable with the way it is. Should this pass the way it is, then probably next meeting I'll be bringing a resolution forward on policy to kind of plug that gap. Thank you, Mayor Souls.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Councilor Chair.
Yeah, I believe it's fairly public, the financial state of Black Press Media. If we don't amend this, there may not be a newspaper in the future to advertise in, and we'd have to amend it anyways. So this is about setting the minimal standard where council can still direct more communication as well. So I'm in favor of this motion.
All right. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Note that Councilor Palmer, Councilor Orlando are opposed. Balance of council's in favor. This motion passes. Moving on to item B, permissive tax exemption bylaw. Ms. Moore, comment.
Through the chair, no further comment. This does need to be adopted by October 31st.
Council, someone want to put the motion on the table for me, please?
Gotcha.
Councilor Cherry, seconded by Councilor Lusau. Any further discussion on the motion? Councilor Palmer.
Yeah, just briefly, again, we'll point out that I will be in favor of it as it is right now, but we do need to have a better review for next year. And I definitely will be opposed to this sort of routine next year if it comes up in the same way. We do need to have a more robust review process. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Any other comments from council? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item C, utility rates amendment bylaws. Someone want to put them on? Mr. Black, do you have an Ms. Moore, do you have an oversight? Because we're talking money.
Through the chair, the fee rate increases you see before you are the same that were presented at the committee of the whole earlier in October. These are the fee rate increases that you will also see in the long-term financial plan being presented next week.
Okay. Councilor Lusau, you want to put the motion on?
Yep, I move that the 2026 utility rates amendment bylaw number 2425 be read a first, second, and third time.
Seconder for the motion, please, Councilor Devlin. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Moving item D, Mr. Simon, housing agreement bylaw 2362. Do you have a brief oversight?
Through your worship, so this is a request to repeal an existing housing agreement bylaw. This is for the Hemlock development off of Humbert Street. The proponent's housing agreement allows them the option to pay cash in lieu of providing the 6 rental units that were secured through the housing agreement. That owner has paid cash in lieu in the amount of $222,000 total for the 6 units now. So now we are in the phase of housekeeping to clean up the title, repeal the housing agreement bylaw, and discharge the notice that is registered on title.
Great, thank you, Mr. Simon. Councilor Cherry, do you want to put this motion on?
I move that legal notation CB 1175393 be authorized for discharge.
Seconder for the motion, please. Councilor Devlin. Any further discussion on the motion? Councilor Palmer, you had your hand up. Was it to second or was it you have a comment? You're good? All right. Any other comments from council? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Item number 2. Someone will put that on for me, Councilor Cherry.
I move that bylaw number 2427 to repeal housing agreement bylaw 2362 be read a first and second time.
Seconder for the motion, Councilor Devlin. All those in favor, or any further discussion, pardon me? None, all those in favor? Motion's carried, thank you. Item number 3.
Move that bylaw number 2427 to repeal housing agreement bylaw number 2362 be read a third time.
Seconder for the motion, please. Councilor Devlin, any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Simon. Moving on to staff reports, engineering. Mr. Black, do you have an oversight on this report?
No, Your Worship, I do not have a presentation available for questions should there be any.
Okay. There is the report in our package. Does someone want to put the motion on? Councillor Lethal?
Move that a climate adapted community spaces grant application for the downtown Revelstoke Climate Resilience Streetscape Project be supported.
Seconder for the motion, please, Councillor Stipenhurst. Any discussion on the motion? I think Mr. Black seeing this come forward is absolutely, with climate change, it's essential to be moving things forward with this. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. It'll be interesting to see how it works and go from there, but I'm excited for it. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Item number 2, Councilor Lusso.
I move that a climate adapted community spaces grant application for the Victoria Road Street tree planting project be supported.
Seconder for the motion, Councillor Orlando. Any further discussion on this? Good to see this as well. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 11B, license of occupation, 519 4th Street East. Mr. Black, any comment on this before I put the motion on?
Yes, Your Worship.
All right.
Our engineering staff would be very pleased to come forward and make a very, very short presentation to you. I'd like to introduce council and the CAO who has met William, but William Clack is a new engineer in our department. He's been with us for about 6 weeks now, and very pleased to have him as part of our team. And be nice, please.
Awesome.
William, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. As Steve mentioned, my name is William Clack. I'm new to the engineering department. And the recommendation that I'm here to present today is a license of occupation. So this license of occupation is located at 519 4th Street East, 10 block 41A, section 27, township 23, range 2 west. The area in question is the parking location next to Jim's Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, right beside the roundabout on Victoria. It seems this area was paved with the intention to be used as a parking space for that business quite a long time ago, but there's no agreement formalized at the time. And now Jim's Refrigeration and Air Conditioning is up for sale, so we're looking to just formalize the agreement. Yeah, the area is on city lands, and the area in question is 145 meters squared. It has an undefined number of parking spaces. And we're looking at giving them a 5-year term with an annual fee of $150, set to increase by 3% annually, with the option to extend it for another 5-year term at the end of the first initial term. So 2 alternatives to accepting my recommendation. Option 1 would be to deny the license of occupation. Option 2 would be to consider an alternate fee. Some financial considerations. Jim's Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, or the future owner of that property, will be responsible for snow removal and any maintenance costs associated with that area. And the attachments, I'm not exactly sure how those work, but there is a license of occupation attached to this recommendation that you should be able to review. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Black. And because Mr. Black has asked me to be kind and gentle, I won't ask you about the history of the building or anything like that. Just to see if I can get the hairs on the back of your head to stand up. I think the bonus with this, thank you for formalizing this license of occupation. The proponent has been there for many years and used to park his vehicles there on some property that was probably partly his and partly the city's, and then we put in a roundabout took away his access and then put it back in by formalizing this. The beauty of this, I'm supportive of this because the beauty of this is that whoever the owners end up being will be doing the snow removal rather than us and any maintenance on that. So it's well worth the $150 a year to do that. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Someone want to put the motion on the table for me? Councillor Devlin.
I will move that notice be given of the city's intention to dispose of an interest in a portion of land by way of license of occupation located at 519 4th Street East, Jim's Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Limited for a term of 5 years with the option to renew for one additional 5-year term upon mutual agreement of the parties for an annual sum of $150. And that the Director of Engineering and Public Works and the corporate officer be authorized to sign on behalf of the city.
Seconder for the motion, please. Councillor Staphenhurst. Any further discussion on this motion? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor Souls. I just have some questions on the financial amount, $150, and this is just a little less than 150 square meters. So we're essentially entering into a lease agreement for approximately $1 a square meter. I'm just wondering, is that how is that number come about, and is it reflective of the market? Was that analysis done, or is I'm just sort of wondering how that number came up?
Black and Mr. Black.
Yeah, so it is lower than the standard market rate for this land, but the area is not really independently usable or leasable. It's really just a parking area. So that's kind of my justification for the lower than market fee.
What would be the market fee?
And the market fee would be roughly $10 to $20 per square meter.
Right, and the only
if it was a
access
business.
to this property really is for the purpose of entering that facility, correct?
Correct.
All right. Councillor Palmer, follow-up?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Souls. Certainly respect the sort of the rationale. At the same time, sort of looking out for the interests of the taxpayer and where the values are, it seems like an incredible bargain for some future unknown owner. So why would the city subsidize that, I guess, is sort of the question in the back of my mind. That's not a question for staff. I understand the rationale. And I just to take it to another level, and it might be for other staff, I think the planning departments, because I'm just trying to remember. So not a license of occupation, but we had a relaxation of parking requirements that allowed parking with the Raven's Nest. And was there, I'm just checking to see, did we enter into a license of occupation, or was that just basically a relaxation of the parking requirements, which is de facto going to be for their exclusive use as well? The reason why I'm asking, Mayor Souls, is I'm just wondering what we've done in the past, and seeing how we get the value for the taxpayers in where the consistency is or is not. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Simon, do you have a comment?
Through your worship, to Councillor Palmer. So that was through a development variance permit application, and that was just varying off-street parking requirements. There was no license of occupation issued, and the difference here is that these spaces are fully located within the city right-of-way, whereas that situation was they were half in, half out. And that situation too, they were in what sometimes we refer to as no man's land, where it's that portion between the end of city right-of-way and the individual's property line. And we know the road doesn't always extend perfectly with city right-of-way, might end a bit before. So that's the portion that's no man's land, which is very common for many individuals in the community to provide parking within that portion of city right-of-way.
All right, thank you for that comment. Is there any further follow-up, Councillor Palmer, before I go to Councillor Orlando?
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Souls. I'm pretty uneasy about that. You know, with the whole idea of this sort of subsidy to a future unknown business, and it seems to me that it should be at market rate. It just in the sense of fairness to the entire community. And I absolutely respect the rationale on how the decision or the recommendation came about. However, I am not comfortable with basically a de facto subsidy to some future unknown business. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Orlando?
Yeah, thank you. Just through the chair, a detail question. This is not going to change the actual layout on the ground at all. It's not going to lead to any more pavement or
That is correct,
lawn
yeah.
change. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Good. All right. Councilor Cherry?
Just for clarification, if I can through the chair, currently we're collecting nothing on this property? Zero funds?
Correct.
Gotcha.
And we're doing snow removal and maintenance.
So then the follow will be, the owner is going to be responsible for snow removal and upkeep and all. Perfect. Thank
All
you.
right. Any other comments? Councilor Orlando?
Just sorry, regarding the market rate, it was expressed in square meters. I know if you look at the map, the property we actually own overlaps with the buildings itself. Through the chair, if possible, what would the total market rate be?
Mr. Clark, did you have that?
The total market rate,
10 to 12 bucks?
it's roughly $10 to $20 per square meter. So, yeah, I guess just based on the area there, if it's 145 meters squared, just multiply that by 10 to get 1,450 roughly.
Councilor Palmer?
Thank you, Mayor. So just another question. Was there any consideration of just selling that land to that? And of course, I've generally been opposed to that as well. So I'm not suggesting that I'd be in favor of that. But was there any discussion with the potential, if it's not functionally useful?
Yeah,
To
Mr.
the
Black
city.
Mr. Black shaking his head, no, there was no thought about selling that property.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, the motion on the table, I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? No, Councilor Palmer is opposed, balance of council's in favor. This motion.
Councilor Lucia was also opposed.
Councilor Lucia was also opposed. Thank you for that. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Clark. I hope we were kind enough, but, you know,
Thank you.
fair game now. Thanks again, appreciate it. All right, we are moving on to item 11C, road naming application. And so, Mr. Carlock, I understand this is your file.
That's correct.
Okay, you want to give us a brief overview?
To your worship, staff has no presentation, but is prepared to answer any questions or give a brief overview. If
So
you would
give
like.
us a brief overview, how we got here, and then I'll have a few questions.
Sounds good. So as per condition of their subdivision, the applicant was applying for a road naming application, and the developer reached out in order to apply for the road being named after a notable Stoke skier. And as other strata roads currently exist, such as Nels, Nelson, and Corsier, they applied for Lindburn Avenue. And through talking with the curator at the Revelstoke Museum and Archives, who spoke to the daughter of Bob Lindburn, we determined that Lindburn would be spelt with an N rather than an M.
Okay, good. So historically, Mr. Lindberm was a skier here in the community many years ago. Do you know what years?
I do not know exact years he was a skier.
You know the name of his sister?
We only promised to be nice to one of you.
I know the name of his daughter.
Okay. Okay, well, that's one step in the right direction. You know when he passed away?
No, I do not.
Okay, I think we've rattled your cage enough. Thank you so much.
I can do more.
And so can I.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So I'm going to ask for someone to put the motion on the table for us, please. Councilor Devlin.
I will move that the name Lindburn Avenue be authorized for the construction of the new roadway required as part of sub 2024-011 located at Lot 2, Section 23, Township 23, Range 2, west of the 6th Meridian Kootenai District Plan, EPP 69441, accept plans EPP 98511 and EPP 125979.
Wow.
Going to put that in brackets.
Councilor Matei, you're going to second that? All right. Any further discussion on the name? I think, Mr. Kurlock, that is an appropriate name. Appreciate you doing that. I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting up with my questions. And I appreciate your first formal presentation to this meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again. All right, we're going to move on to correspondence. Ms. Crilly, Madeline Crilly has sent a letter regarding concerns one of our walkways. Any comment from council on that? Councilor Lucien?
Thanks, Marshall. Would this be appropriate to refer to public infrastructure?
That would be perfect time to do that.
I think we should do that.
Okay, so you're going to make that motion?
Yeah.
There's a seconder for that motion, Councilor Devlin. Any further discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion's carried. We will defer that to Public Infrastructure Committee. Refer, pardon me.
What'd you say? That we will read.
What did I say?
It's a deep.
Oh. Okay. We're going to refer it. That's adding little fuzzy stuff to it. Okay, communications. Heritage Advisory Commission minutes. Whose committee is that?
That's me.
Councilor
That's
Cherry.
us. The committee looked at an application at 316 6th Street East. They made a number of additions that they'd like to see or changes they'd like to see on the development. One being consider a historic pitched roof design over the green bump out, consider changing the roof color, front of the building to consider section 11.6 of the HCA design guidelines for roof and gable decorations, review the massing. They made a number of changes. Additionally to that, we looked at meeting dates for next year, 2026, and we chatted about the merging of the Advisory Planning Commission with the Heritage Advisory Commission. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions the council would like.
Council, any questions for Councilor Cherry? How many people on the committee now, Councilor Cherry?
3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Tough to get quorum.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 13B, Governance Committee minutes. I'll just briefly go over that. We talked about terms of reference template for committees, commissions, select committees, pardon me, and discussed that. A committee and commission manual. And then we talked briefly about the select committee terms of reference being converted to the new template. Staff liaisons and committee chairs be invited to the future meeting to propose specific issues and mandates. We discussed future meetings for 2026. Council attendance at conference policy, did a brief discussion on that. And then, of course, the grant and aid and permissive tax exemption policy review, the street naming, addressing policy review was not budgeted for, but we did discuss that. Any other comments from council? The councilors that were on that meeting, any comments? About rest of council, any comments, questions? Councilor Cherry?
Yeah, I've just got a question about the conversation limiting 2 conferences or a number of councilors per conference.
We just want to come up with standard practice for selecting which conferences council members would attend, how many council members could attend, budget allowances, and preferred conference choices. We want to make sure that there is some policy there which will keep the community notified of what council is doing, what conferences that we're going to, and keep it at a financial rate that's sustainable for the community.
Gotcha. I also want to note that the suggestion that those who attend give a presentation post-conference, I'm in favor of that.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate that. Any other comments or questions from council? Councilor Orlando.
Just a quick question to follow on that. Is that going to be something that this committee looks into or just following up on that? Thanks.
Yeah, this, the governance committee will look into it and it'll come to council for suggestions and we'll do that probably at a committee. Ms. Floyd, I'll shut up and let you speak.
Thank you, Mayor Sells. During the last finance committee meeting, you did invite all of council to attend the next governance committee meeting on November 17th to have this discussion as a group.
All right, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Seeing none, I'll move on. Questions from the press. Mr. Lindquist, you have some hard and pressing questions for us.
Never too hard.
Never too hard? No, nothing. Okay. Ms. Delaselle, any questions online?
We have no questions from the press, Your Worship.
All right, thank you. All right, council, I'd like to go in camera pursuant to section 90.1 C, F, and G, and K of the community charter. Someone will make the motion for me. Councilor Devlin, Councilor Lucille, all in favor? Motion's carried. We will take a few minute break and come back in camera. Thank you.
Just to go back to the previous question,
Paul, can
Paul Limber, and I will tell you exactly